Let's overcome the fear of real interviews and make one more mock interview dedicated to YouTube design.
Design YouTube. And the nature of these interviews are very ambiguous. I will just say design YouTube.
So YouTube, at first I'm gonna clarify some requirements, functional and non-functional. I suppose that there are two roles. People who upload videos and people who watch them. Am I right here?
Upload and watch. Yeah, absolutely right.
In our system, do we have authorized users, or we should make some authorization process?
Yeah, authorization. Yeah, ideally in a system you should have authorization, but for this problem we shouldn't focus on the authorization part. Let's focus on the core part of the application, which is to upload a video and watch the video.
Okay. So about non-function requirement, I suppose it should be a pretty available system.
Yeah, the system needs to be highly available. Since the competition is really tough in the market, it shouldn't go down. Maybe 99.99599 as you say. This should be the availability. This is a gold standard throughout the industry. That's what we can assume.
So I suppose it should be fault tolerance. It should be persistence, because people don't want their videos to be disappeared because of something.
Right. Yes, we can assume that.
I think that more people watch videos comparing with those who upload them.
That is a correct estimation.
So, and that is why I suppose it would be a read-heavy system.
Yes, it is.
So, okay, now I want to clarify some numbers. For example, how many daily active users in this system?
Let's say 200 million. Or let's say since YouTube is pretty big, I would say 500 million.
Okay, on average, one person, how many videos it watch every day?
3.
Okay, and about upload, can you give me a ratio, maybe some number?
For uploads, yeah, on an average, I would say the creator to watcher ratio is maybe 5% of the users are actually the one who are creating videos. 95% of them are watchers.
So it is about 120 of all of them. So okay, on average, what is the size of the
I'm
video?
writing, just to interrupt you, I'm also writing your feedback as we talk about things, so that
Yeah.
I don't miss anything, right?
Thank you. So on average video size.
Sorry.
We're talking about video size on average. How many maybe megabytes it is?
Okay. So on an average, let's suppose each video is 50 MB.
Just 50, yeah?
Yeah, 50 MB.
Okay. So now we have some general numbers, and we can calculate bandwidth and size to our system.
Yeah.
To understand the load of our system.
Yeah.
And one more number I want to clarify: how many years should video be available?
How many
years video should be available?
Let's say we want to keep video for as long as possible.
Okay.
Maybe for a decade.
Okay, so I would estimate some load. So we have 500 million users and 3 videos each days they are watching, and 50 megabytes is average video size. So at every day we would get so it would be 15 billion megabytes and billion megabytes per day. There is a number of how many it is downloads every day. So it is billion megabytes. So let's calculate bandwidth. It would be billion megabytes divided by 8. Let's round it for 100. So it is a number of how many seconds in every day. It is 84, 86 and 400s, and we can round to just
10 to the power 5. Yeah.
no.
Yeah, I want you to spend less time on back of the envelope calculations and more time on actually solving the problem. So don't spend a lot of time coming up with numbers.
So okay.
Rough estimate is fine.
So yeah, there is for upload, and should we go to the API?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have API. So user
before APIs, I would like you to circle back and think about the high level components
Oh, okay.
that you are
Mm-hmm.
and maybe try to spend a minute or two, not more than that.
Mm-hmm.
A really brief idea where we are heading, and then
Okay.
we can come back and think about the APIs.
So there is a creator of the video, there is our service, and there is
Mm-hmm.
a watcher.
Mm-hmm.
So creator comes to with the video.
Mm-hmm.
Our main service give a link to upload it. It would be uploaded to some blob storage.
Mm-hmm. Can I? Okay, okay. You are drawing here. That's why.
Yeah.
Sorry, this platform should readjust the screen automatically. Can you give me a minute? I just need to fill the water. I feel very
Yeah.
very thirsty.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's super hot. It's getting hotter and hotter. So, in general, we are feeling more and more thirsty
Yeah.
these days.
So after it, creator downloading the video, then response to the service that is done. Then there are some transcoders that would convert this video in different formats. And after it is available for users to watch it. And it would be, by the way, some metadata database. I think it is a high level design of this system.
So, user uploads the video. What is this middle box?
So we can say it is some front service.
Front service. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what is the purpose of this front service?
It creates so in this database of metadata database, it make a new row, if we are talking about SQL or something else, that video is uploading. It reserves some link in blob storage and responds to the creator to download this video by this link.
So this is essentially a service which is hosting the end user APIs. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And talking to the databases to store the metadata, and at the same time it is also storing link to blob storage, and I'm assuming that that link is again stored to database as a form of
Yeah.
all right.
So
And then once your video is handled by front service, when does the blob storage comes into picture?
so it is a client task to understand that video now is uploaded to blob storage, and then it make request to front service that it is done. And after it, front service understands that it can goes to blob storage with to get access to uploaded video.
Mm-hmm. Right. So can you write something here so that it is clearer from the diagram?
What should I
How
write?
maybe the flow of request, how the
Yeah.
one request is coming. Maybe try to number it so that we know that these are the sequence of steps the request is following, so
Okay.
that it is
So it is, for
we can,
example,
we can just put numbers and maybe a very short text.
okay.
You can avoid that. Just having a number is sufficient for me.
Okay, yeah. And describe by voice, yeah?
Mhm.
So first step is to make request.
Sorry to interrupt. Maybe when you put your number, maybe try to come up with some sort of shortcut so that it is easy to think about it later.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Be yeah, yeah. Upload is fine. One word, one or two word, not more than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Upload. Then create one entity in database. And third one should be make link, something like this, reserve link. Fourth, answer response. Fifth, upload. 6, response. 7 would be a request that it is done. Upload done. Then updating database. So I think it is a process for upload video.
Okay. So one thing I would like to talk about is your upload service. First, at step 3, front service is directly interacting with blob storage. Step 5 and 6, user is also directly interacting with the blob storage.
Yeah.
This looks little confusing to me, because here you are saying the upload is happening directly to blob storage by the user, but at the same time you are saying that there's a reserve link which is coming before the upload. If it is coming before the upload, how do we know that this is the link to the blob storage? Because the link is coming at the step number 5. Can you see the flaw in design? Or maybe I'm misunderstanding something.
I think there are two ways, first one is to reserve a link with a special API, or the second way just to say client to upload video. The link will be created at this moment, and via response it would return back, and client will say the link of uploaded video.
Okay. Okay.
So should we?
Maybe we can explain something like this. Maybe use a text format, because sometimes as an interviewer, it is slightly difficult to grasp. I'm still looking at this sequence and I might get confused. So maybe a text here where which you have explained, a quick note like 1 2 3, very 2 3 word kind of answer where you know if I look at the diagram and the
Yeah,
text together, it makes more sense, right? So that it is not lost in
yeah,
verbal sense. At the end, when you wrap up your interview, it is much easier to review and revise
yeah.
and just reinforce your design, good part of your design, back to the interviewer so that you finish on the high note. Yeah,
Should I
I
make
was trying
this?
to pick up the feedback as we go, but I thought this should be more interactive than that.
Yeah, okay. So am I correct by doing this?
Yeah,
Yeah, so
you're
okay.
doing well. One follow-up question I have is, do we really need to reserve a link? As soon as
Yeah, we
we
can. Yeah.
maybe blob storage, can we not notify the front service somehow, and then it creates a link? What is the pros and cons of these two approach, one versus the other?
So there is benefits that we prepare and beforehand. This link for this client can add some security to our core system. But from the other hand, if client would deny uploaded by some reason, we should have some mechanism to empty to delete these reserved links. About a second approach of directly uploading get links, yeah, it is simpler design with from the other hand it has less security, I think.
Mhm.
So should
All right.
we choose the second one?
Second one, the one I pointed out.
With creating link by uploading.
Yeah, no, we can go ahead with the first approach. I was just questioning your approach. Yeah,
Okay,
we can go ahead with this one. Let's
okay,
focus on the more critical part of the component now,
okay,
because we might run out of time.
okay. So response.
Yeah, I'm trying to simulate it as close as to real interview,
Oh, that's great.
but aware about the time. Obviously, I also jumped in when you were doing the back of the envelope calculation. You were spending a little bit more time there,
Yeah,
right?
okay, okay,
Again, I want you to focus on the core component,
okay,
which shows me that you are solving this problem correctly.
okay. So I've done with this list. What should we do next?
Yeah, yeah. After transcoder, what do you want to do? Is this is this diagram complete, or are there any other services as well?
So there is a it is high level diagram focused on upload. We can move further.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
once
please.
once uploading done, entity in database is updated, and now front service is aware of this, and it can make a new task for transcoders that would transcode this source video to videos in different formats.
Mhm.
So we would. Should I expand this diagram or write a new one?
This is for which flow?
Should
Are
I
you
I
This
want
is only for
I want to clarify transcoders way and download way. Should I expand this diagram or make new one?
both approach works, but whichever you are comfortable with.
A new one.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, I will do it lower here. So now we expand our system. So the last step is update. This will mess up, so we should delete this one. So once it is done, 8th step, we should make some task. It would be done asynchronously by some message broker.
Okay.
And many transcoders, each one responds for its special forwards, will get task from this message broker and convert source video to videos in special formats. It can be, I can draw one blob storage or different one, but the idea is to put new transcoded video in blob storage. And after it should make update in this metadata database that this video is now available in few more formats. So it is about transcoder path.
And can you list down the steps for the transcoders? How does it transcode? What are the steps or tasks it utilizes to actually transcode the video? Because just putting video through the transcoder service, what are the internal steps that it is performing and how it is performing those steps? Can you talk about that?
There are special machines with these workers, transcoders, and service that receive this task. The task has URL of the video and URL of entity that is about this video. So this service gets this information, then download the source video. Every transcode every transcoders is equal in its own format. And after it, the final step is to upload to blob storage, get link, and update with this link metadata.
Yeah, this part you have only explained via the current diagram. Can you imagine about this transcoder service independently and what steps it execute? Maybe draw a different diagram, or maybe you would like to focus on some other aspect of the application.
I suppose transcoders as application that maybe we bought or developed by ourselves, and it is like black box and it does its job.
Okay, so you are assuming that we are using some third party transcoding service.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, for depending on the scale, this might have different outcomes. So can you tell me about the pros and cons of choosing to build your own versus using something off the shelf from the market?
Yeah, I see. I think for the service with YouTube scale, there aren't many variants in the market that can fulfill our requirements of, for example, speed of transcoding and about volumes that YouTube has. So that is the good reason to make our own transcoders. But from the other hand, it is time to produce. When we start doing YouTube, maybe we can buy something, but while we are progressing and spread all over the market, we can build our own.
Sure, makes sense. Please go ahead. Yeah.
So there is a final step to download videos. Should I focus on it?
Yeah, sure.
I would make a third diagram if you don't mind.
Yeah.
A bit lower. So there is a user that wants to download video. He wants some video. As we said before, it is read-heavy system. Yeah.
Why do we need to download the video?
Watch or download. Maybe watch, yeah. As we talked before.
Yeah.
So we want to watch the video, and our front service knows everything about video because it has link to metadata database. So he will process this request, will answer, is it ready, or is it, or do service have it? If it is not, it will respond that it is not available. If it is, it should get it back. So front service should respond with this URL.
Direct block storage URL?
Let me think. So there is network link and different video formats.
So you will have different video format for each user, or can user request different format? What are you trying to imply?
So for example, we can challenge this link and for example, if it is a good link, we can respond with good format, but anyway it can degrade, and we should have a mechanism to change formats. So for example, there is a different service. Let me think how to implement it. That will constantly challenge this link to user and will respond with proper format.
What is this middle box? Is it some service?
Some streaming service.
Streaming service. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
makes sense.
uh,
And what if I want to change the settings of the video? Watch in fixed resolution.
yeah, finally it will be a new request to change the resolution, and front service will talk with streaming service to change this resolution, to change format.
Okay, so are you storing a different file for each resolution?
Yeah, each transcoder makes its own resolution in a separate file.
Okay, makes sense.
So because we have read heavy system, we should use something like CDNs to make downloading faster. So
To reduce the latency so that
yeah,
file is served
latency and load to our system.
near to the user. Right?
Yeah. So we
That's
have
what
some point of presence all over the world, spreading geographically, and we will use
And
this
how will
CDN.
you spread the videos in the CDN service?
For
How
example,
do you
for each region, we can have some analytic service that will monitor requests to database to watch these videos from this region, and would say to some workers to download these popular videos to CDNs.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay. Looks good to me. Anything else you would like to add?
I would see requirements. So thanks to this service, analytic service and point of presence CDNs, we fulfill these requirements of availability. Thanks to Blob storage infrastructure, we fulfill persistence and fault tolerance. We can make many front service and have load balancers, including geographical load balancers, so geographical DNS, to spread the input traffic also.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, with that, yeah, are we wrapping up the design phase? Anything else you want to point out before we wrap up the interview?
So I think I'm out of many thoughts. I've said all of that I thought.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, at this point, what happens is that you discuss with your interviewer how it is going and ask for their feedback, right? It's always a good idea to probe the interviewer for the feedback. So let me share the feedback
Yeah.
so that you can improve in the actual interviews.
Yeah.
So the requirement part, I felt that you could have done a better job there. We could have spent more time clarifying the requirements. I was expecting you to kind of explain and ask more question around requirements, right?
Yeah.
But you started, if we scroll up, you started with the roles straight away and you listed down two roles. We didn't talk about how, in which resolution users can watch video. Can
Yeah.
they take, can they pause, what are the functionality that we need to focus on? You just assume that there will be two main functionality, upload and watch, right?
Yeah.
We didn't dive deep into these functionalities, right? So that was the one part where I felt that you can do a better job, maybe ask more clarifying questions, right?
Yeah.
To think out more holistically about these products. Try to visualize, try to actually imagine the product that you have used, and maybe try to think about the major components, right? As an
Yeah.
interviewer, I should you should ask question, and I should be ruling out the things. For example, authorization is something that you pointed out, and I didn't want you to focus on authorization, but it's a nice thing, right? So that was a good call. But you could have clarified more on requirements. Do you agree?
Yeah. Thanks for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And non-functional requirement, I think you can do better than this. Fault tolerance is one, persistence is another. uh, Persist, yeah. Yeah, maybe availability is good, right? Reliability would be another. But yeah, I mean, in general, talk about your approaches, right? How to improve the availability, how in the subsequent steps, right? I didn't see you mentioning availability when you were designing this, right? How will you increase the availability, right? Are there any single point of failure, since this is a front service? If this goes down, what will happen,
Mm-hmm.
right? Are you
Yeah.
running it on a single server, or collection of nodes, right? You didn't pointed it out, right? Then how will it improve the availability? So these are the important things that you should keep going back to your non-functional requirement, and like keep mentioning. And also, one thing throughout the interview is that first I was trying to be more silent so that I could understand your thought process, right? And observe that where you are doing things right and where you are doing things wrong. For example, you didn't probe me enough, you didn't ask for feedback, right? You started designing it and
Mm-hmm.
explaining it, right? In a real interview, I will want you to treat your interviewer as a teammate, and this is one of the mistake I made, right?
Mm-hmm.
uh, like even in last interview, if you have noticed, between you and I was probing you for more feedback, right? And
Yeah.
this is something we can use in real interviews, that maybe person who is sitting there, they can get more engaged with our solution, right? Instead of just sitting there, it's, if I'm sitting here and you are not engaging me, I might lose my focus, right? So it's important to reiterate what you have built and ask for feedback, and give affirmation that this is how this will solve the availability challenge, this is how it will solve this particular problem that we have, right? So that
Yeah.
would be another feedback. Another feedback would be, a third or fourth feedback would be, back of the envelope calculation, you spend too much time there. If you see, this is not really a back of the envelope calculation, right?
Yeah.
It's huge, right? Don't spend so much time there, because interviewers generally don't care about these specific numbers, right? While you were typing, I had no idea what these numbers meant, right? So don't spend so much time. Maybe just think it in your head, try to come up with a rough calculation. Perhaps when you prepare for some interview, focus on this part alone, that you want to just focus on the back of the envelope calculation till you get really good at it, right? These are individual components you can work on, right? Then you went on the design part. You drew some arrows, right? I had to point out that, I'm a bit lost here in your design, right? Then I asked you to put numbers, and then your design became a little better, right? So always probe your interviewer that, if they are understanding or they are lost, right? Try to engage them. So you did well here. Your design was good. Then, again, this part which I'm highlighting right now, these series of steps. Yeah, I mean, these part I want you to think about these parts. For example, I want you to read on something like pre-signed URL for S3, right? Something like that, right? And using queues to actually update the data in your front service, right? How your is your blob service intelligent enough to communicate with front service? I don't think so, right? You need to have some kind of queue, right, where your blob service is putting data, and then you can interact with it. The general pattern which I've seen from my personal experience, right? So because block services are usually pretty simple, right? In S3 you can put file, fetch file, right? It's not going to interact directly with your client and your front service together, right? Can it? Yeah. Just research about this, how you can use uh, pre-signed URL. Otherwise, your design were good. You did really well in the design. You were talking about front service data, metadata, but little bit of probing from my end was required. What I want you to do is, from next time, you probe the interviewer, right? I'm your teammate. Ask for feedback from me, right? Instead of me jumping in, because not all interviewers are going to be good, right? You will encounter some bad interviewers as well, and they will just sit there and watch you, right? So, I mean, your goal is to make sure that you eliminate that factor out of your process. If you are able to work with bad interviewers as well, I think that will make you really stand out, because there are going to be bad interviewers, right? Some of these companies have interviewers who are just going to sit there and just observe you, right? And they will lose focus. So yeah, those parts are really important. And then I like the fact that when I ask you to, you ask me about, which approach to take when it comes to explaining the different components. You were asking me, then I asked you whichever approach you take is fine, right? And you took the right step. Always, have separate diagram. It just it just have a separate, I mean, even in software engineering you have a single responsibility principle. It's much easier to explain things that way, right? So yeah, that was a good step by you, but I want you to frame the question in a certain way that interviewer should feel that they are selecting the approach, right? For example, I think explaining everything here will create a mess, and it will confuse us when we wrap up. So I think having a separate diagram for this service alone makes a, what do you think? Right? Right? If you frame it like that, they will, even if they are silent for a while, they have the question in their head, right? What, they will not lose focus, because you are asking them, you are probing them. and you are, even if you were going straight with the design and they were not asking anything, this is a kind of a milestone where asking them to come back and really think about this, right? Maybe not lose focus. So that's how you work with bad interviewers as well. So yeah, I mean, I want you to keep that in mind. Then I think in the transcoder service, use some details. For example, when I probed you about the watch video about different settings, right? Then you told me that we store different files of different settings, right? You should have explained that here in the transcoder part, right? Do you agree with me? Yeah, I mean, I want you to highlight that part using diagrams, right? Because when you talk a lot, it is very easy to lose few things. As an interviewer, if I'm listening to you for an hour or 45 minutes, I might miss a thing or two, but whatever you draw, it is right there in front of me. I will take that out, right? I might forget whatever you are saying. I will only know that, you spoke about these things and overall feedback, you spoke well. But when the interview is finished, they go back, they share the feedback with their team. Okay, they will come back to this diagram, right? So in important critical bits, I think that was important part. The transcoding part was really important. Storing separate files was really important for this one, right? Because of the optimization reasons and other reasons as well, right? Do you agree with me? Yeah, so you do agree with me that transcoder is central to this problem, right? So maybe they deserved a separate diagram where you could, talk about their internals, how it worked. And at one point, I did probe you. I did ask you to share the details of the transcoder, not once, twice, right? So maybe it comes back to the lack of preparation as well, right? Maybe next time this question is asked, you will do your research now, right? Obviously, you will come up with a better approach, I'm pretty sure. But these are the feedbacks which I wanted to share so that you can do better from the next time. Yeah, yeah, you're welcome. But overall, I really liked your approach. You have uh, good command on these drawing tools, right? You can navigate easily. I was struggling with the tools the other day, right? You were not struggling. You are pretty good with it, so that part is sorted for you, right? As an interviewer, it is easy for me to follow your thought process, which is great, which is essential, right? So you did really well there. And if you it just comes down to uh, doing and studying these questions from different resources, because different resources will tell you things differently, and then you have to have your own thought process. Once you do that, I think you will be able to rock these interviews.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, because some of these knowledge, I mean, you you do acquire from your projects, but you may not have worked with many projects, right? So doing research is really critical here for system design.
Yeah, that's great.
And since this was pre-selected, I was expecting you to maybe elaborate a little on transcoder service as well. Anyway, maybe next time we pick up some question we can what we can do is we can be more collaborative, right, in our preparation. You can send me links that you are using, right? I can go through it, right? And then we can probably talk about what are the missing pieces that are there. Cool. All right, man. Thanks a lot.
So thank you
Yeah,
for this interview, for your feedback. It is really precious.
no worries, man. No worries. I hope you do well in interviews. All right.
So
Bye bye.
thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye bye.